Hello everybody! It's Wednesday, and that means that we are live with our, live stream. It's going to be the last live stream since, or until the NaNoWriMos or Novelember thingy. So as you can see from the title of the stream, we're testing stuff today, and as you can probably see from the new look of everything, well, I just thought I wanted a bit more interactivity. I would definitely like, and you know, so we can like follow the progress along. So this is just like right now, it's just dummy stuff. Word progress, of course, it's not 10,000. We haven't even started yet. Daily goal is also not 5,000 words. But you know, just to test things out. We got the dual to spin and everything. And then as we go along in the day, in the days. Sorry, it's been a while since I've been live streaming. As we go along in NaNoWriMo in November, I will update. I need to update every single thing manually of those. I think the only one that doesn't need updates is this one. So let's hope that we get some new subscribers, so it's not hidden as one of my friends who's there. This was also supposed to be a chat here. I don't know why that isn't here. Yeah, I really don't know why that isn't here. Because now there's definitely, well, there's a chat message there, right? We can all agree on that. At least my chat message is supposed to be there, but for some reason it's not working. Show platform icons, you know, it should be. Reactions, participants, no. Oh, maybe it was only my... El Cuervo, hey, welcome to the stream. Oh, okay, so I can see that's chat now. Apparently it's just not my messages that's there, so thanks El Cuervo for actually being here and chatting. As you can see, I am setting this up right now in anticipation of... is it 0.5? Okay, let's not go that. In anticipation of our good old November, that is going to the NaNoWriMo hashtag Novelember. I was just talking about how I've been working on this little new look, which I think is a bit more streamy, a bit more fun, a little bit more interactive. Well, I guess. So the idea is after each live stream, or every day I go live at least, I'm going to update the progress bar and the text so people can we get a better sense of where we are in this project, this 50,000 words project. And then the chat there is supposed to work, but I don't know why. It worked for a little while and then it stopped working. Anyway, how are you doing, El Cuervo? Are you ready for Novelember? Setting my notes too. Nice thermometer. Thank you. It's a progress thermometer. Yeah, let's call it that. Let's call it a progress thermometer. Okay, the box thing seems to work pretty well. I guess maybe... let's not do everything today. I can do stuff. Improve on stuff as we go. But yeah, the progress thermometer, I like that. It is a bit wonky to set up because you can't choose the anchor point. And what I mean by that is, for example, so I've made this document here in, oh no. Actually just, wait, what did I do? I've made this spreadsheet, is what I wanted to say. And in my universe folder here, just gonna show a little bit behind the scenes stuff. There we are. So I have this spreadsheet of what I need to do each day. So I've just put in some dummy stuff, but I need to write 1,667 words every day, which is approximately, I think we have it down here, 4.6 pages in my book by hand. And anyway, so whenever let's say we did 2,000 words. 2,000 words, thank you. Then I would know that the bar height over here needs to be the bar height on this one. So I need to do this manually. Yeah, it's beautiful, isn't it? This needs to be, was it 40? So it would be this size, and then the bar position would need to be 1,040. Okay, so this is definitely not something. I guess that was wrong. Whoops. Oh yeah, that was very, very wrong. Holy sugar. Something like that. Anyway, you get the idea. I think this is something that I want to do every day, like at the end of the live stream. I'm not sure if I'm going to do it every day, but a live stream at least. But I'm going to try as much as I can, and then at the end of the day, we update the progress thermometer, and it's going to be glorious. And yeah, okay. So I did say that I wanted to do chapters today, or I didn't just say it, I actually wrote it in the title. Now that we know that everything is super working the way they're supposed to. Right, let me just see here. So yeah, this is background. Oh yeah, I've done some. The mentor is named either Reinaid or Rea. I've named him as well now, and his spirit bound is supposed to either be called Adarid or Anad or Anid. So isn't that lovely? Right. Go for Reinaid, says El Cuervo. Sounds better. It does. Yeah, I was leaning towards that as well. As you can see down here, Reinaid is supposed to be Feyen for warrior spirit. So you know what? Because you said so, El Cuervo, that is what we're going to do. That's what he's going to be called. So that means that he's spirit bound. Now, of course, he is a ghost, and he doesn't actually have a spirit bound as of the... well, he does, but it's not with him. as of this book. But in life, his spirit bound was a ram. Yes, and it's going to be called Ardarith then. Because, as you can see here, Ardarith would be Horn Spirit. So we got Warrior Spirit and Horn Spirit. I think that was a pretty fun wordplay. Also, we get two names that are sort of like they end in the same thing. Anyway, just as I was, having lunch today, I got the idea for another idea for the intro. So right now, the intro, or the, I guess we could call it epilogue. Oh no, not epilogue, prologue. Do we spell that like this? Prologue? Something like that. There we go. Prologue. So right now we have the prologue of, you know, Vespa being delivered to the keep, which I have named as well, by the way. Yes, I've done so much. So it's going to be called Black River's Keep. As you can see, as you can see here. And that's because I haven't actually drawn the map yet, but there's going to be like two rivers, like one river diverging into two rivers around this keep in the middle on like an island. And they're going to be, the water is going to be black, and that's like, it's a reason for why the paladins have chosen to go to this Black River's Keep, is to actually heal the lands around. Yes, I know, I've done a lot of background lore, I feel like. I still need to do maps and stuff, but you know. So yeah, the one prologue idea that we have been working with so far is Vespa's parents delivering Vespa to Black River's Keep for some reason, some unknown, mysterious reason. El Cuervo says everything goes back to Mesopotamia in the end. I guess that's true. Yeah, that is definitely true. So, but I don't think my background lore goes to Mesopotamia. But yeah, maybe it does. Maybe it does. No. And then Afaya, the older sister, you know, taking her in. That's one of the ideas. So I'm going to say idea number one here. And then I was thinking, because that's all mighty fine and stuff, but it's also very, very Harry Potter-ish with Dumbledore delivering Harry. Not that there's anything bad with it, but I feel like we can keep some mystery. And since Afaya's birth and like being delivered to this Black River's Keep is not actually going to matter in this story, I figured maybe it was more interesting to in medias res, so like straight into the action of the final fight into the final fight of the battle for the dying light. So like I have this idea, and given that Renaith, the Faye and Ghost is going to play a pretty big role in this. I feel like it would be cool to have a prologue, like not a big one. It's not going to describe what happened in detail, but like I have this cool idea of 5 heroes / champions. Talking as they are about to attack the darkness that's threatening their life. So yeah, there's some evil, there's some darkness, evil that's threatening everything, and it's consuming everything. That's the shadowy creatures, and that's where, you know, there's this big battle for the dying light, because this is threatening to consume everything, consume the light, its shadows. And I just thought it would be cool to have the prologue be that, because it's going to be Vesper's mentor is going to be from, like, he's going to be one of those champions, one of those heroes. He's going to be the first son of the evening. And you know, so it gives some context to him and his story. And he's going to have this mighty weapon, and prologue is probably going to end. It's probably going to end with the champions charging into battle. So, you know, so it is going to be much like in Gladiator, I guess you could say. I love Gladiator. But yeah, it's going to be like the beginning of that movie, Gladiator, you know, where he's taking up some dirt, he's talking to his generals, he is giving commands, and then they're charging, right? And then you obviously, in Gladiator, you obviously see the battle, but we won't hear because it's just a prologue. And then we cut to Vesper's daydream, right? Because I think that makes more sense almost than her parents delivering Vesper. And then her parents delivering Vesper, we can use that in the second book as a prologue. Because I think I want Vesper's parentage to be a big theme in that one. El Cuervo says, cool, I love the haunting narrative trope. Yeah, I do too, as you can clearly tell. But I'm glad that you think it's cool as well. But I do think that's a better idea. So this is probably what we're going to do. And again, once again, it gives context to Renaid, who we're going to meet for realsies down in Meeting the Mentor, right? And his it's going to give context to his spirit bound as well, but we're not going to meet the spirit bound yet. I mean, Renaid is a ghost or spirit himself, so this is also going to be taking place, like this battle for the dying light. I've been doing some timeline stuff, and I think I have set it down to like battle for dying light is like 600 years before this book, I feel like that's a good enough time for it to be almost a myth or a legend. Especially since, and it gives good enough time for the teachings of the 5 pillars, which was not the humans' original religion in my world. It gives enough time for that to come about, I guess you could say, and establish itself. And it gives enough time to at least begin the Blessed Crusade, which is the Templars raiding everything in the name of the 5 pillars. And of course you have the Paladins, who are opposite the Templars. So I'm pretty happy with this. So this one, and also means I don't have to come up with 2 new characters until the second book, because I already know that I need to come up with 5 characters for, like, these champions are gonna play some part. Because of course Renaid is not going to be the only grave in the catacombs. It's going to be all of these champions. So most likely going to save this for the second book and have Vespa's parentage be a D. Because you could also, of course, have this in the first one, and then have this prologue with the last battle. We could have this as the prologue for the third book, where there's going to be a new big battle versus this darkness and evil. That's my plan, at least. The first book is not going to be about this darkness evil. It's going to be about the cult. I've also found a name for that. The cult, the villains, antagonists of this story, is going to be called the Temple of the Drowned. That totally makes sense when they try to bring about drowners. They would bring about the flood, and then they would call themselves drowners, and I feel like that's fantasy like. That's cool, right? So yeah. Okay. But no, this is the idea. This is the idea. This is the winner. Winner. Because this is also going to establish that it wasn't just the humans and it wasn't just the Fae folk who banded together. It was humans, it was elves, it was... I have a race that I haven't introduced yet that is going to be introduced in this then, which is Devils. Not devils, but D-A-E. Let me just write it out. Devils. So yes, it is devils, but you know. And then we have dwarves as well. So it's going to be 5 races, 5 species in this grand battle. And I think that's pretty cool. And it opens up some questions, and I think that's a good thing. Like, I think that's one of the coolest things about delving into a new book or a new video game, a new franchise in general. Like, if there's I have talked about this before, but if there's mystique, if there's questions that is going to be answered somewhere in the universe, right? And I think this intro, this prologue, deals more about, like, gives more questions, gives more mystique than this one does. And also we can probably get some more tension here as well. Like right from the beginning. Okay, yeah. I think that's great. I think that's cool. And so I wanted to do chapters. I'm not quite sure. I think the best way to get an overview of chapters is like a spreadsheet. Eveningsun Trilogy, Book 1, Chapter overview. Chapters overview. Eveningsun Trilogy. Eveningsun Trilogy. So, yeah, that's what we're going to be doing today, hopefully. It's good to know that my stuff seems to be working. I of course don't know if the newer subscriber one works, but you know, we're just gonna need more people to subscribe. Yeah. Of course, I still don't have a name for my book yet. But it is what it is. So we're gonna have chapters here, I imagine. Actually, probably here. Chapter 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't have any idea how many chapters, so let's just say 10 for now. And then so I saw this. I saw this really nice overview once. Just see if I can find that. It was this overview, like chapter and book overview, I think, that J.K. Rowling did for Harry Potter, and it was actually quite nice. Is it in here? Yes. So how do we... Don't quite know how to get it here. Actually, x.com Nathan, because it was in a folder on my Google Drive that I don't want people to see. There's stuff in there that's important. Harry Potter one storytelling framework. I think it's this one, yeah. It's like 3 years ago. Ah, can we see it? It looks like we can. Okay, good. No, I'm not logged in. I can't remember my login. God damn it. Okay, never mind. So it was this. It was basically this overview. Where she like divides the chapters into when they're going to take place, what chapters they are, what they're gonna be about, like what we need to introduce into that chapter. So here we say the hero's journey. So this is going to be where we are in the hero's journey, duh. And I'm just gonna write it out first, and then I'm gonna make it pretty afterwards. Maybe after this stream, I don't know. So hero's journey, where we are in the hero's journey. Yeah. So this is the things we must have. Must maybe introduce. Actually, we want the prologue here. Chapter 0. And then I guess it'll be plot. Where you're gonna have dinner. I hope you have a nice dinner, and you are, of course, as always, most welcome back when you have had your dinner. So, okay, so that's the plot of the chapter. I don't know, I feel like maybe we should have like tension. Main plot, yeah, main plot and subplot. Tension. So we, of course, we want the tension. We want to have tension, like tension in the 3-act story structure. I think I already discussed this, but this is basically what we want, right? We would like the inciting incident to be like before the inciting incident, to have this cool little uptick in tension as well. What did I do here? Stupid AI, I hate you. Let's just open you in a new tab. Right, so that's sort of the idea, right? So we want rising tension basically throughout the entirety of the book. Where did it go? There we go. Over here. So I'm not entirely sure what I want the subplot to be. I feel like I should figure that out. We have a couple of subplots, I guess. Let's write that down as well. So, let's just put you there. So main plot is Temple of the Drowned. Temple of the Drowned conspiracy to kill the paladins. And bring about the flood. Okay, so let's see. Let's resize you. Let's resize you to 300 maybe. Yeah, that's fine. And then rabbit. And then subplot. Subplots. So we have Vesper thinking that Son of the Evening is the villain. I guess that's sort of a subplot. And then we have the idea. Oh, I just realized you can't see half of this because of because of the chat. Whoops. So let's just put this here. And default is 100. That's still not enough. Let's put it here. Okay, great. And then we can resize you. Was it 300 we said? Yes, it was. Okay, now you guys can see everything. Isn't that much better? Much better. Okay, this is the wrong mouse. I have this mouse for my PC that streams, and then this mouse for my Chromebook where I write stuff on. Just to bring you guys up to speed. And I want some tea. It's getting cold out there, man. It's getting terribly cold, and my apartment is so not very well isolated, which sucks. But it is what it is. All right. So one subplot is Vesper thinking that Son of the Evening is the villain. And you can read it, right? So let's maybe if we do this. Can we zoom a little bit? How does that look? Yeah. I think that was better. Indeed. Right? Yeah, that's way better. Can we zoom more? Can we zoom a little bit more? Yep. Probably just stick to 125%. So where were we? Another subplot. I guess that main plot very much the same, isn't it? I mean, I guess we have a subplot that the paladins have misunderstood the prophecy. So we have the Eveningsun prophecy, of course. Prophecy. Sun. Not sun. But I mean, that's not. That's not so much. I don't know. That's not so much. It's not so much a subplot, is it? I guess we could say the Eveningsun prophecy, the evening. I mean, we don't want too many subplots. The Eveningsun prophecy. And that's about paladins. Paladin misunderstanding. Battle for the dying light. And what and what and what and what and what. It's uncovering the past. It's not going to be a major plot point, but I guess it is a subplot point, so no, that one, and then with that one. Okay, so I think something like this. I know I said I wouldn't want to make it pretty just to make it pretty, but I'm doing it anyway. 40. So yeah, we would like tension to be low and rising to high. And then, of course, the climax should be towards the very end, right? The midpoint is a twist. I'm not sure about that in my book, but it is whatever. So there's nothing here in the first one, in the hero's journey, but we are going to introduce. No, I can't. It doesn't fit on the screen anymore. Okay, something like that. text wrap. Okay, so this is going to introduce the five champions. The battle for the dying light. Battle for the dying light. It's going to introduce the 5 champions. And that's pretty much it. I feel like Naid and don't remember how Dair was that the name? I don't remember how I spelled it. Dair. Yeah. In particular. I guess you want that for all of them. There we go. Yeah. Okay, so it's not gonna have main plot per se, right? But it is going to have subplot. It is going to have a plot of the Eveningsun prophecy. I guess it's the prequel to the Eveningsun prophecy. So in that way, that sort of works, I think, doesn't it? I feel like this should have like medium tension. So we're gonna paint that yellow. Maybe not that yellow. It's gonna have medium tension. Maybe drama, maybe more drama. More like drama. So no action, just talking. I mean, these are guys going into battle, right? So the 5, which is basically a suicide mission. This is this big great evil. The 5 champions. Doing their final what would they be doing? They would be preparation before charging into battle. Suicide mission. So it's going to be like them saying like proper farewell to each other and their past lives, right? So yeah, we're gonna do drama and sadness and what they say. I just I just sort of realized that this is a young adult. It's going to be a children-law / young adult novel. Maybe this is too heavy. We can always change it. Maybe this is. Let's actually say it here. Is this too heavy for a novel? Like, can the children understand what's going on? I guess they would already understand heroes and darkness and all that. I just got the terrible feeling that I am completely misjudging who this is for and what I intend to write. That's not so good. That's not great. But you know, we can change it if it doesn't. We can change stuff if it doesn't work. Misjudging your audience. I mean, that's not the greatest thing to have happen. Am I misjudging the audience? Whatever, it's fine. Okay, so now in chapter number 1. This is the ordinary world. Ordinary world. We're going to introduce Vesper. We're going to introduce Black River's Keep. We're going to introduce Afaya. We're going to introduce Paladins. Or is the Black River's Keep going to be introduced in the next one, in the next chapter? So that's like, that would still like be the ordinary world. Yeah, because it's not like we need one chapter for each step in the hero's journey, right? I guess. the initiating incident of the story would be the second chapter. Because this is Vespa in her daydreaming. Vespa daydreaming, not wanting to do her chores, what she has to do. And then we have a fire. Coming back from a mission. I don't know, I kind of like this idea that Vespa doesn't want that Vespa doesn't want what she doesn't want to do what she has to do, and just wants to do what she wants to do. But as the story progresses, she goes more and more into what she has to do, right? Like her braveness. She has to be brave, she has to do stuff on her own because people don't believe her. Her daydreams. Adventures. Yes, because these daydreams and these adventures. Sorry, I was just thinking. They're gonna be like they're gonna be the reason that no one's believing her later, right? I gotta say, right now, I feel like, oh, there's still a lot to have down. Like, I know I have a bunch of characters that I haven't even started on naming or doing anything with yet, and I feel like there's still background stuff that could be really useful. I haven't drawn a map or anything. I don't know the country name of where this is taking place, even though it's only going to take place in the Black River's Keep, right? I probably should name the town close to the keep. That's going to have a big role in the second book. It would make sense if we had if we at least knew the country, the kingdom that things are taking place in. I haven't that down yet. I just suddenly felt a little bit overwhelmed. So that's cool. That's nice. I love that. Yeah. But I guess we just have to keep on going. So I want a fire to give Vesper a gift. And that gift is going to play some small part in this story. It's not going to be a subplot here. No, it's not what I meant. There's not going to be anything subplotty. I don't think so, at least. Is there? I mean, this overview, of course, is... Actually, let's freeze that. Edit. Actually, should we freeze these four? Freeze forwards. So we always keep the subplots and main plot. That makes sense, right? So yeah, we're not introducing the Black Rose Keep until chapter 2, but that may be Call of Adventure. Call to Adventure. And tells Vesper to go and do her chores. It's going to be very light tension here, I believe. If any. So this is going to be like almost like white. How does this look on the stream? Yeah, this looks pretty alright. I guess this is... But it are not uncovering the past and the evil that lingers. So there's going to be subplot. Because fire gives a gift. Which is connected to the evil. Like that's going to be one of the reasons that a fire hears voices sometime. And it's not going to have a huge role, like I mentioned. This stirring evil is not going to be big on I guess we also have a main plot of finding out who you are. Finding out who you are. That's of course Vesper. Vesper. Like, she's tiny, she's not human, it bothers her. She's going to figure out that she is Fey folk, right? And that she can do other things because of heritage. I'm gonna say connected in bunny ears. That sounds very ominous here. It's not supposed to. It's just like it's a coincidence. But I'm not really sure if it should be like a gemstone or like a small sword, something connected to the paladins. Should probably be that. Which let's just say by chance here in... So it definitely wasn't the fire's intention to give something that is connected to this lingering evil. To the lingering evil. Which it's better to say accidentally. Yes. Accidentally. Linked to the lingering. Yes. And it has none to light. None to light tension. Of course, there's also what? There's also like introduces. This should introduce the Cult of the Drowned. Temple of the Drowned. Not a whole lot. Just, you know, just mentioning them quickly. So we do get a lot of short introduction here. Short. Introduce. We should introduce that the paladins are aware of the Temple of the Drowned. Introduce that the paladins being aware of the Temple of the Drowned activities. I guess rising activities. And by that I mean Afia is coming back from her mission. Afia's. So it's not going to be. It's definitely not going to be like. It's not going to be explicitly explained. That's what I want to say. My God, my brain is just non-functioning today. Okay, so Afia gets Vesper to do her chores. And then the call to adventure happens. So I guess here we'll be introduced to Black River's Keep and Tuvehan, which the blacksmith, Vesper's strength, Vesper's unusual strength. I'm almost certain that I want Tuvehan to be the blacksmith here. Tuvehan, of course, is one of my main characters from Calamity, my very first short story. If you haven't read that, I sincerely hope that you will go and read it on my webpage. ForgottenSongsFantasy.com. I guess that's really something that, of course, we're going to introduce her small stature here, but yeah, we're going to introduce her unusual strength in the second chapter, and then we're also going to introduce the Son of the Evening. son of the evening, who's a major douche. So Vesper is doing a delivery for him. Delivery for him. Now I don't know if we want it's definitely a subplot here. Sorry. I don't know if we want preparing for the temple of the drowned, and what they might do. So we're going to see that in the blacksmith, Tubihan, blacksmith, yeah, whatever. And like he is making armor and swords and stuff you would use in war, basically, right? And of course, this is not something Vesper is going to notice. It's not something she's going to take notice of. I don't really know what I want the main plot here to be. Because that's what I interrupt myself before in saying. I don't know if, like, we want a call to adventure quite early. I am aware of that. We're just introducing a whole bunch of new things already in chapter 2. Like, I want Vesper to be scolded by the son of the evening. But I don't know if I want the chapter to end with that. Basically. See. Here we want her to be curious. Her curiosity is important there as well. Oh, this is I don't know. It's tough because we could have this end with doesn't actually introduce anyone new, I guess, then. So I guess this is okay. I'm gonna do Ordinary World here, and then the next. Oops, it's also wrong. Call to Adventure. Just go alternating colors here. You know what, this is better, I think, because then Vespa does her chores, which is delivery late delivery for the blacksmith. Meets the son of the evening. And gets scolded for being late. They needed whatever she's delivering. They needed the delivery. Way earlier. Just earlier. So we know that he's a bit of an ass. El Cuervo says, I have returned. Welcome back, El Cuervo. As you can see, I am fully into this sheet making, this chapter overview, which is more difficult than I had thought it would be. Yeah, it's interesting. Actually, I'll just do something here. Going to freeze the 5 rows so we know. Yeah, okay. What? Oh. Maybe we should change this because almost my entire screen is now taken up by by this freeze window. Okay. All right, there we are. So we have the subplot, we have the main plot. And now the rest of the screen isn't taken up. Okay, okay. Quavo says, God, this takes me back to 3 years ago in my accounting class. Well, what a blast from the past, right? I hated that teacher. I'm not the teacher here. I just want to have that clear. I'm not your accounting teacher. You don't hate me. I don't know. I just find I like setting stuff into sheets for overviews and stuff instead of using, I don't know, tables in a document or something. I know it's a bit weird. Okay, but anyway, so the main plot, he gets scolded. We want the SOE to takes over the crate. Delivery. Can barely lift it. I know I keep going back and forth. I don't know. It's between what actually matters, what we're writing down here, and making things different. I don't know why. It's just what I do when I'm stuck in something, what I want to write. For example, I tend to get distracted quite easily. So we want the Son of the Evening here to drops part of the delivery. Sad Vespa decides she needs to she must she has to bring it to him. Sending Vespa to prayer. So she did just the prayer, and thinks Vespa. She then thinks Vespa then thinks that the Son of Evening goes down into the dungeon. So we need to. I need to lay out this castle so that she can lose him out of sight, and then see someone else walk down into some dungeons, and then follows. And then that's chapter 2, right? So now we have 2 chapters of the ordinary world. And this is light tension as well, I feel like. light tension. I mean, her getting scolded, that could be... I guess that could bring some tension up, but... of a dangerous adventure where she fights a dragon. So now we have the call to adventure. That's going to what did we write? That's going to be where she finds out the main plot of the conspiracy to kill the paladins. I have no idea if these chapters, of course I don't have an idea until I write it down, but I have no idea if these chapters, like what I want to write down here, if that's too small, that's too little, or too much for a chapter. Like, this could be one chapter, these first two that I've written down here, right? But at the same time, I just kind of like the idea that as a short time skip, it's not really a time skip, is it? If you're if it's just minutes or half an hour apart, it's not really a time skip then. Yeah. Aguero says, I mean, the Name of the Wind has less than 1 page chapter, so don't worry. Right. Actually, I'm reading the Gods of the Weirdwood right now. Which is a little confusing, but overall pretty good. And they have this... I don't remember the author, but they have this... like a long chapter, and then a small intermediate chapter that's like a flashback in like 1 or 2 pages, and then there's a long chapter and then a flashback, the long chapter flashback. It's actually kind of fun. A fun way of doing it. It is something that I apparently worry quite a lot about. Like, the closer we get to November on a Saturday, the more I tend to worry about like how far behind I feel I am. And now stuff like this, is this a chapter that's too much? Is it too little? I don't know. That was what this session was supposed to help me with, where we write everything, where we have an overview of it. Vesper thinks she sees... Right, we want the tension here. The inciting incident should be quite high, the tension. I mean, it should be light to high. Light to high. So we're gonna give that a... I don't know if that's too... That's brown. No. What? Just what? Custom, that's the one. That's probably better. Okay, light to high. I guess medium to high actually. Medium. So this is going to be the inciting incident. Here we're going to introduce old dungeons. Old and abandoned dungeons. We're going to introduce Temple of the Drowned. We're going to introduce Plan to Kill Paladins. We're going to introduce the Flood. And the subplot here, of course, being that Vespa believes the Son of the Evening to be the villain, Since she thought she followed him down to the into the dungeons. And we should also introduce the quirk here of Vespa's quirk of narrating everything. So like she narrates stuff out loud. I think that was what I settled on. Right, I think it was Vespa. Oh yeah, we also need to introduce here that she hears voices from time to time that guides her. But this should be the first time that she hears it. Actually, that reminds me here. Unusual strength. Vespa being uneasy around the graveyard. Graveyard of Black River's Keep. Something just hit me. If we are going to have... Oh, this one. The end. The end being this idea where Vespa destroys like the reservoir. This should be very early in the story. This giant reservoir of blessed water. But does it need to be this early? Does it need to be chapter 2 early? Or can it be... Can it be introduced later? Let's work with the idea that we're introducing that later, that it can be introduced later. Yeah, let's do that. Because otherwise we could make Vespa go to the temple here, so we would introduce not only the keep, but also the temple. And then... And then the Son of the Evening would be at the temple, at the reservoir, talking to maybe the Chapter, High Chapter. And then he would get mad because he needed the delivery elsewhere. I mean... That's honestly not terrible. And then he goes out of the temple. That means we go past the graveyard with Vespa. Where she's uneasy. She... because she's Feyen, she has quite the connection to spirits. Of course, she doesn't know that yet. I don't hate that, to be honest. I don't hate that. That she meets the Son of the Evening. We meet him in the temple in front of the great reservoir. And its temple. Great reservoir of blessed water. Yeah. Guevo asked also, there's something I've yet to know What is it going to be the narrating voice? Third person or first person? I think it's going to be third person, but it's not going to be an all-knowing third person view, right? I think I'm going to lean up against Harry Potter, also because they were so successful. Like, let's not discuss J.K. Rowling and what she's doing right now, but the books themselves were quite good, and like everything is from Harry's point of view in Harry Potter, but it's not I, right? It's Harry does something. It's not I do something. I think that's third person, but not an all-knowing third person, right? I'm actually not sure. That's not the first. Like, first person has to be where you say like I do this. We're gonna say Vesper does this and that. First, third person view book. Choosing between first and third person. Yes. Smoke, blah, blah, blah. Choosing a point of view could be anxiety inducing. I don't actually. Yeah, I think naturally, right? Like, I haven't really thought that much about it. It's just the way I write. It's the same way as my short stories. I'm not sure if that's called first person or not. Like, it's not going to be a person telling a story, right? Is Harry Potter first person? No, it's in third person. Third person limited. Great. I thought that it was that, but you know. Okay. Great question, El Cuervo. It's going to be third person limited. It's written in. For the record, I'm gonna do neither, says El Cuervo. What? Oh, you guys can't really see it because of the chat. Can I just say again, like, the chat up there on screen it's made for when I write in hand, when I write by hand. And as if you followed along, I only write on every second page, so every page on the right. So there's a big empty space here. That's why I chose to have the chat box there. But anyway, Aquario, you say you're not going to do that either or because it's an epistolary tale. I need to know what epistolary. Oh. Okay, that's interesting. So what? But it's still going to be if epistolary is letters, if I understand this correctly. Dictionary. In the form of letters, it's still going to be first person then, isn't it? It says here epistolary. I don't know if you can see it. Can you see it? Let's do like this instead. Now you should be able to see it. Epistolary in the form of letters. I have a literary work in the form of letters. I think that's very interesting. Not just letters, newspapers, reportings, diaries. Huh. What the hell's happening? What is happening to my mouse right now? Okay, that's super interesting. So, like, what did you have in mind for the plot? Is this going to be like an event, like a war or something, and it's going to be letters from one person and newspaper articles from another person, or something like that? So I'm guessing that it's going to change between first person and third person view. So like it's not the same. It's not the same main character, I guess. I think it's a very cool idea. I figured it was really better because it's a huge wild catastrophe where the sea rises a kilometer. Ah, nice. I think it's a very interesting way of doing things. A very, very interesting way. A very unusual way of doing things. So that's definitely very cool. But yeah, I'm going. I've said this before, but I'm going traditional all the way. Like, there's not gonna be much. Like, it's going to be my own original universe, right? And story that I came up with myself. But like, we're doing the hero's journey. We're like it's very traditional what I'm making here, right? No big surprises, no big twists, I guess. It's going to be a little twists, but no I see dead people from well, I guess a little bit, because Vespa is going to talk to a ghost or a spirit. But yeah, this is just what I want to say. That it's very traditional. Let's say here that she finds the SOE. We're also going to be introduced to the High Chapter, who's also a bit of a douche. Finds the SOE inside the temple, talking to the High Chapter by the giant reservoir, great reservoir of blessed water. I guess here we'll also be introduced to the Paladin's mission. Paladin's mission of general mission of cleansing the dead land and rivers around Black River's Keep. Okay, I definitely think that this needs to be a chapter in and of itself. I feel like I keep adding to this chapter 2. Vespa gets scolded for being late. SOE need the delivery earlier. Takes the delivery. Asks the High Chapter to punish Vespa. Oops. And then he drops part of the delivery. Despite her punishment. Aha! Yes. Okay, now we can move on to chapter 3. Yes. So let's I just totally lost my train of thought. God damn it. Let's just write something. Let's see if my train of thought comes back. Wow, that was terrible. I was really just looking out, just thinking about nothing there. Beautiful. That bodes so well for when we have to live stream. What I have decided to live stream almost every day from Saturday. And I kind of want the first day to be like this giant, maybe the first 2 days to be like this many hours live stream, not just the 2 to 3 that we usually do, but many more hours. Also because I know I have 3, maybe 4 days where I don't get to write at all in November, so I need to get a head start. Yeah. Okay, so Vespa follows who she thinks is 3 through the dungeons. Whoops. She enters older, very old. She enters abandoned dungeons / ruins. Where she's never ever been before. It's not like she's been in the dungeons too often. Hasn't been in the dungeons too often. And here Vespa finds villain, who we don't have a name. I still don't have a name for him. Yep. We're 3 days away from the NaNoWriMo, the Novelember, and I still don't have a name for my villain yet. Yes. Of course, Vespa doesn't know that this is the villain. Talking to a shadowy figure. Overhears the plan to kill the paladin leader. And of course, it's not just a paladin leader, it's going to be pretty much all of them. and oops, and she finds 2 drowners. Of course, she doesn't know that they're called drowners yet, but villain and shadowy figure. Talking. With plan and to bring about the flood. And then want her to start narrating whispering. So she's basically daydreaming again. That she is on an adventure. Vesper gets... she doesn't get caught yet. She of course doesn't get caught yet, but she gets found out. Update. How on earth do you say that? She gets detected, that's the word. Detected when narrating what she sees, because she's an idiot. No, she's just a child. Oh, here she is guided by a voice, guided by a strange voice. When trying to escape, Vesper is once again guided by the voice. And then Vesper falls into the catacombs. And then that's like then the chapter ends there when she falls into the catacombs, right? Trying to kill the paladin here, who I also need a freaking title for. And then I guess we're in the meeting the mentor, right? Yeah, the refusal of the call, that's true. It's sort of also going to be meet the mentor, but... See, frightened, Vesper runs away to find a fire and tells what she's heard. Catacombs is a burial site for the heroes of a great battle. Scared, she's all alone in the dark room. Hurting from very small injuries. She's also afraid to draw attention of the villain. In the dark, she hears a subtle whistle, making her less scared. So she's sort of already meeting the mentor and also testing allies. She has a new voice calling for her, coming from where Vesper fell down. Turns out that's a failure. When looking for Vesper. Alright. So it says refusal of the call. Refusal of the call. So I guess the tension here should be medium. Light to medium. Maybe it's just light. Like it's tension. It's tension in the way that she's scared to be in the dark. But like a fire comes and helps her, right? Rescues her. Refusal of the call. So here we will introduce... We're going to introduce Lemon. First meeting with mentor. A fire rescues Vesper and gets her out of the catacombs. I'm also not entirely sure that the main plot is not that Vesper thinks the Son of the Evening is actually the villain. Like, because she's going to try to convince everyone that he is, right? So here subplot is Vesper hears is guided by the lingering evil. By the lingering evil. Without knowing it. Without knowing it. So this is the main plot. And I guess finding out who you are would actually be a subplot. I'm gonna put that first. This is an accidental meeting with. We don't actually know who the mentor is at this point. But she's just going to. She's going to touch his weapon. The weapon that I keep bringing up. And that I want to be this Naruto moment in our story. Like she's going to touch it and then she hears the mentor. And like she can only communicate. That's also why no one else is able to see the mentor, because she has to be touching his weapon in order to communicate with him. Because the mentor spirit is bound to the weapon. So he's not, when I say ghost, I've been giving this quite a lot of thought actually. The mentor is not a ghost. He's not a ethereal being. He's a spirit bound in this weapon. This broken weapon. That Vesper can only communicate with when she touches the weapon. Yeah. Vesper tries to convince Fire of what she saw and heard. So that's the refusal of the call. That is that Vesper wants a fire to take over, to do something about this, right? Yeah. So the main plot here. The main plot, of course. Meeting Lemon. Meeting and spirit binding with Lemon. That's of course a main plot point as well. Yeah. So here Vespa has fallen down into the she's fallen down into the catacombs, so she's a bit hurt. Vespa is a bit hurt from falling into the dark catacombs. She's of course scared. She's scared given that she's alone and does not want to alert the villains again. She still talks out loud, though. I quite like that quirk that she narrates her own life. And when she daydreams, turning it into an adventure. Keeps narrating to calm herself. Just calm herself though. She hears a low volume whistle. What do we say? How do we say that in the other one? She has a faint whistle. Subtle whistle, faint whistle. Subtle whistle. Which Vespa can only interpret as someone or something being hurt. Vespa fumbles throughout the dark darkness. Through the darkness, not throughout, just through the darkness. She fumbles through the darkness. Talking and receiving whistles back. So she's basically at one point she can hear that Lemon, who is whistling, is on the ground. So she goes onto all four. And like fumbles, keeps fumbling, right? Yeah. At some point, Vespa goes on all four as the whistles guides her. Comes from the floor. So she accidentally grabs hold on something, which is going to be the weapon. Mentor's weapon. And clearly hears a voice. Vespa, let's go. And as she asks who that was. No one answers, of course. No one answers. Oops. Vespa finds Lemon. And determines her to be a bird. Can feel her feathers, feel her feathers. By feeling her feathers. By feeling her feathers. Finds them determined to be the bird like feathers in the dark. Yeah. Afire calls for Vespa and saves them. So, should we have a 5th chapter or should we have a time skip here? So, writing it out like this, it does feel like because this could be the call to adventure as well. And then refusal of the call could happen here. I think that makes more sense actually. So this is also call to adventure. Call to adventure. And then we have this. What on earth am I writing here? This is not the introduction, duh. Accidental. I kind of like it. I kind of like what we're doing here. So first up, we are starting the epilogue, prologue. We're starting the prologue with these heroes getting ready for battle. Stops, hard stop. Then we have the ordinary world, where Vespa is a chapter with Vespa. Where she is introduced, and that stops as Afire tells her to go her chores. Then we have another chapter, so that's like this hard but natural stops, and where there's going to be a time skip, right? However short it may be. And that's the same here. So she follows him down into... She follows the villain down into the dungeons. Then, next chapter, we are in the dungeons. And she falls into the catacombs. Next chapter, we are in the catacombs. She gets saved from it. Next chapter, we are wherever, like, Vespa has her bed or whatever, right? So we're going to have a chapter where there's not a lot of tension, I feel like. other than maybe some drama, because she tries to convince a fire about it. I guess the subplot here would be like first meeting with one of her own species. Renaive spirit. Yeah. Okay, so here, what are we introduced to in the refusal of the call? This is where Vesper tries to convince a fire that something bad is happening, and a fire dismisses her. Saying that she's daydreaming. So I guess we're not necessarily going to get introduced to anything here. I don't know if that's good or bad. It feels like we're missing something. Calls out for Vesper. Calls out for Vesper. I guess here we're introduced to Paladin's healing abilities and blessed water. Like that's what we really introduced to here, right? Afaya is going to heal while she's discussing whatever is happening. She's going to heal both Vesper and Lemon. Actually, maybe it's a good idea to introduce the Paladin's general mission of cleansing here. So we don't actually hear what the Son of the Evening and the Higher Chapter are discussing there in chapter 2. But here, with the blessed water, like a fire is going to be reluctantly especially reluctantly healing Lemon. Yeah. So the tension is basically going to be none here. None to light. I guess this should be none to medium. This one we chose for that. Yeah, it is. So we have tension when like it's complete darkness and she doesn't know, she's scared, right? That should be medium. And then here there's none to light tension. I gotta say this this takes longer time than I thought it would have. It really does. But it's all right. I definitely think the refusal of the call just needs to be this chapter, and then the next chapter would be meeting the mentor. Meeting the mentor. So here, back at, I guess we also are introduced to the fact that a fire being, or Vesper being raised by a fire. Vesper being raised by a fire. Because we would, I feel like we would make sense since the only other children that the paladins of the vigorous oath here it's the squires, and they're like taken in when they're 15, 16, 17. So they're basically young adults. I just realized something. I think we also want to be introduced to Vesper's wish of becoming a paladin. So that needs to be there somehow in the introduction. Back at Afire and Vespers. Her, the dorm room, their room, whatever. Vesper has been late to bed. Is in bed. Afire healing her wounds with blessed water. Vesper convinces her to also heal Lemon. Afire is reluctant because the blessed water is not supposed to be used. It's supposed to be used for something else. Supposed to be used for something else. For cleansing the lands and the water around the keep. Vesper tells Afire what she saw and heard. In the dungeon. Afire dismisses her claim that Azuri is planning to kill Paladin leader. Right. I guess we also told more about the flood. Told more about the flood here because I want. Vesper asks a fire about the flood. About the flood. Is told a little bit about it, but Vesper feels like a fire is hiding something. She, of course, here is a fire is hiding the fact that the paladins are already in the know about the temple of the drowned. Right, and then maybe it's up here we want Vesper begs for a fire to do something. Thinks it's all in Vesper's head. And a fire gets mad when Vesper keeps asking questions. You know, she probably ask about the flood first, and then whoops. No, stupid. There we go. So like that. It's hiding something, and then says that Vesper must have imagined it. But before that, promises that she will go back into the catacombs after the other person who Vesper heard. I feel like what I'm writing here is a little convoluted, and I'm not quite sure of the order. Yeah. tells Vesper to go to sleep and recover her strength. Yeah, like I'm not quite sure if that's if this is the right way to go about it, but yeah. I'm not, yeah, it feels a little bit jumbled together here, but I guess it's fine for now. I also kind of wanted to get mad. If I get annoyed at Vesper, telling her to go to sleep. And then I guess she promises. I mean, she promises to go back into the catacombs and look for the other person. I mean, it's not like... I feel like I'm not using this tool, this overview tool correctly, because it's very much then this happens, then this happens, then this happens chronologically. Where it probably should just be more like... these are the things that we need to go through. Yeah. So this would probably just be like Vesper asked about the flood, who the other person was, wants to get a fire to do something about it. But it's whatever, it's fine. Next up is of course meeting the mentor. But I am all out of time for this session. So we ended up at meeting the mentor, which is 4? Yes. And we're already 6 chapters in, so if we go by that standard, it's going to be 18-ish chapters, if that all works out the way it's supposed to, which I'm not sure, of course. I feel like I don't remember when, but at some point like around crossing the threshold and test enemies and allies, that's gonna be like 2 chapters maybe, and then approach to the inmost cave. Yeah, like the ordeal, and like it's going to pick up really fast, it feels like. I don't know. I have no idea. But at least we are starting. I think it's a good thing to have this overview of the chapters, so I have an idea of how it needs to evolve. It will evolve. The story, the book itself, and then hopefully, you know, it's interesting. But I think it's good to have this tension, like, oh, we're going up and down in tension. This 3-act story structure to think about as well. And it's really nice to have like these things are gonna get introduced, and these plot points needs to be written down here. So all in all, I'm pretty happy with this, and I hope you guys also thought this was pretty cool to do, even though we didn't get very far, 1/3 into the story according to the hero's journey, which is give or take. Whatever, it's more like guidelines than actual rules, right? So next live stream is going to be on Saturday. It's going to be a very, very long live stream. I'm planning on starting way earlier than usual, like 1 o'clock in the afternoon here in Central Europe. And then I know I have to write about 5 pages every day if we need to go, like I'm writing in hand, of course. So if we need to meet the requirement of 50,000 words in 30 days. So I have to write 5 pages by hand not at least, but then we are in the clear. So I am actually hoping to write 10 pages the first 2 days of this challenge. We'll see if I can manage to do that. I hope my brain is better than it was today. But yeah, other than that, I just want to say thank you guys for watching, and I hope to see you on Saturday. And remember, we write our own stories. All right, bye. See you Saturday.